The Dallas Cowboys are gearing up for their preseason finale against the Atlanta Falcons, and all eyes are on Joe Milton once again. If you've been following the team closely, you know the story by now. Milton's performance in the first two preseason games has been a roller coaster, to say the least. Against the Los Angeles Rams, he completed just 58.6% of his passes. And then, against the Baltimore Ravens, that number dropped to 50%. On paper, the yards per attempt have improved, which is encouraging, but touchdowns have been practically non-existent. One touchdown disappeared into the ether, and there was that rough deep ball interception that everyone remembers. It's the kind of inconsistency that keeps fans on edge, because for a quarterback to solidify his role, he has to show a level of reliability that Milton simply hasn't demonstrated yet. So the big question heading into this matchup is whether he can finally step up and prove that he belongs under center for the Cowboys. How he performs could have ripple effects across the roster. It might even influence decisions on Will Grier, or force the organization to consider alternative quarterback options if Milton doesn't show enough. But for now, the focus is on what Joe can do in this single game, and the hope is that he delivers something markedly better than what we've seen so far. Moving on from the quarterback situation, there's excitement surrounding Jaden Blue, the running back who missed the first two preseason games due to injuries. This game represents a significant opportunity for him to make an impression, and fans are curious about how much he will actually see on the field. Will he get a substantial workload, or will it be a lighter set of touches to ease him back into action? The running back depth chart is crowded with names like Maffa, Deuce, Malik Davis, and potentially Miles Sanders getting carries. So it will be interesting to see how the coaching staff balances the opportunities. There's little doubt, though, that Jaden Blue has the talent to make the roster. As a fifth-round pick, he brings explosive playmaking ability that teams rarely overlook, and his performance in this game could cement his place on the team. Meanwhile, Miles Sanders' position feels less secure. He has guaranteed money, but essentially at the veteran minimum, which doesn't buy a lot of security if he doesn't perform. In his previous preseason appearance, he ran 7 times for 15 yards, a performance that left plenty to be desired, particularly regarding his vision and ability to find running lanes. This game is a critical moment for him. He needs to step up and prove that he deserves a spot on the Cowboys roster. On the receiving end, Ryan Fennoy has been quietly impressive. Despite limited opportunities, he has caught 3 passes for 47 yards, but that number could easily be double if Milton had been more accurate. Fennoy has shown separation, speed, and the ability to get open consistently, but the quarterback play has not always allowed him to showcase his full potential, with a couple of roster spots potentially opening due to injuries, particularly Mingo starting the season on injured reserve. The competition at wide receiver is intense. Lamb, Pickens, Tolbert, and Turpin are locks, but there's room for maybe 2 more from Brooks, Fennoy, and Tan Holden, given the depth chart and previous patterns. Holden appears to be the long shot, but preseason performance could shift that outlook. Fennoy has a real chance to stake his claim, and this matchup against the Falcons might be exactly the stage he needs to show that he can be a reliable weapon in the passing game. Tight ends also come into focus, particularly Princeton Fant. Fant has shown flashes of being a versatile H-back hybrid, capable of blocking and catching passes in key situations. He earned praise in the previous preseason game for his physicality and impact, and now the question is whether he can replicate that level of play and solidify his spot as the 4th tight end on the Cowboys roster. The team has been looking for players who can contribute in multiple ways, and Fant's skill set fits that mold. If he continues to impress, he could be a crucial piece not just on special teams, but in situational offensive packages, giving the Cowboys more flexibility on game day. Another player drawing attention is Mazie Smith, a 3rd-year first-round pick who still needs to demonstrate consistent impact in the preseason. His situation is one that requires monitoring as the team has invested in him, but he hasn't yet shown the level of dominance expected of a high draft pick. Every snap, every play matters, especially in a season where roster spots are hotly contested. Smith's development is closely tied to both opportunity and execution, and if he can make a noticeable leap in this game, it could change the perception of his role moving forward. Defensively, the Cowboys are evaluating young talent across the board. Perry Winfrey has shown glimpses of his potential, disrupting plays and applying pressure even with limited snaps. James Houston, Tyrus, and other edge rushers are also in competition for limited roster spots, and their performances in the preseason are crucial. Houston, in particular, has been effective in the small sample of preseason action he has seen, contributing with tackles and quarterback hits. These matchups against the Falcons will be telling in terms of who earns a spot on the final 53-man roster and who might need to find opportunities elsewhere. Linebackers such as Shamar James have made their presence known as well, with 12 tackles, 8 of which were solo. James has shown that he can be a difference maker, not just a secondary presence cleaning up plays, while coverage remains an area for growth. His early performance indicates that he could develop into a reliable contributor on defense. Similarly, the cornerback and nickel positions, including players like Kim Hall, are under evaluation. Hall has shown promise in training camp, and if he continues on his upward trajectory, he could see meaningful playing time this season, especially if the team rotates personnel strategically to maintain depth and performance across the defensive backfield. Special teams and situational players also have a critical role in shaping the final roster. The Cowboys are looking for impact players who can contribute in multiple phases, whether that's blocking, catching, or rushing the passer. Every preseason game, including this matchup against Atlanta, serves as a proving ground. Performance under game conditions, adaptability, and the ability to execute under pressure all factor into roster decisions. The team's approach has been deliberate, focusing on versatility and impact rather than simply rewarding tenure or draft status. Overall, this game is more than just another preseason matchup. It's a showcase of talent, resilience, and potential. Players across every position group have something to prove, from Joe Milton at quarterback hoping to find consistency and rhythm to Jaden Blue and Miles Sanders in the backfield trying to establish their value to Fennoy and other receivers competing for limited spots. The stakes are high. Tight ends like Fant and defensive standouts such as Winfrey, Houston, and Smith are all vying to demonstrate their readiness for the regular season. Linebackers and secondary players must show they can handle complex assignments and make plays when it matters most. Linebackers like Shamar James are also under evaluation with a focus on their tackling ability, coverage skills, and capacity to read offensive schemes. James has shown he can be more than just a supporting player, making solo tackles and actively influencing plays. His understanding of defensive alignment, anticipation of running lanes, and ability to close gaps quickly will all be scrutinized. During this game, linebackers are the connective tissue of the defense, and their performance often determines the overall cohesion of the unit. Coaches will be watching to see if James can consistently make smart decisions while maintaining physical dominance at the point of attack. The secondary, including players like Kim Hall, faces its own challenges. Nickel and slot cornerback positions require a blend of speed, awareness, and adaptability. Hall has had opportunities in training camp to impress, and this game could be pivotal in solidifying his role. Coverage assignments, anticipation, and reaction time are all under observation. The ability to read the quarterback, adjust to route combinations, and execute under pressure is essential for success in the secondary. Every snap provides a chance to demonstrate reliability, resilience, and football intelligence, all of which factor into roster decisions. The depth in the defensive backfield means competition is fierce, and even small mistakes or standout plays can dramatically shift perceptions. Special teams and rotational players continue to play an important role. Coaches are seeking impact performers who can contribute immediately, whether that's in blocking, rushing, or returning. Preseason performance often shapes the narrative for these players, determining who is trusted in high-leverage situations during the regular season. Every snap is an opportunity to impress, and every play carries weight in roster evaluations. Players must exhibit readiness, awareness, and the ability to execute consistently, all while adjusting to the pace and intensity of live gameplay. The coaching staff's evaluations extend beyond individual performances. How players respond to adversity, adapt to fast-changing game situations, and communicate with teammates is just as important as measurable statistics. The Falcons' matchup serves as the final proving ground, offering insight into which players can handle the mental and physical demands of an NFL season. Preparation, focus, and execution in real time. Players must exhibit readiness, awareness, and the ability to execute consistently, all while adjusting to the pace and intensity of live gameplay. The coaching staff's evaluations extend beyond individual performances, how players respond to adversity, adapt to fast-changing game situations, and communicate with teammates is just as important as measurable statistics. The Falcons' matchup serves as the final proving ground, offering insight into which players can handle the mental and physical demands of an NFL season. Preparation, focus, and execution in real-time conditions reveal qualities that cannot be simulated in practice. This is why every snap, every tackle, every route, and every decision matters in ways that transcend the box score. The psychological component of this game cannot be overstated. Young players striving for roster spots must demonstrate resilience under pressure, a competitive mindset, and the ability to maintain composure when mistakes occur. Veterans competing for playing time must show they still possess the skill, knowledge, and adaptability to contribute meaningfully. The mental toughness displayed on the field often separates those who will succeed from those who will struggle. Coaches are looking not just for talent, but for players who can handle the intensity and scrutiny that comes with playing at the highest level. This final preseason game is as much a test of character as it is of athletic ability. From a defensive perspective, chemistry between quarterback, receivers, and running backs is under close observation. Timing on routes, anticipation of openings, and coverage, and the ability to adjust to defensive shifts all factor into how effective the unit can be. Even subtle improvements in these areas can have a dramatic impact on overall performance. Every handoff, every throw, and every cut in the backfield provides information about readiness, vision, and situational awareness. Coaches are watching to see which combinations work naturally and which require further development. Before the regular season begins, defensively, cohesion between the front seven and the secondary is crucial. Edge rushers, linebackers, and defensive backs must work in tandem to anticipate plays, close gaps, and force mistakes. Communication, alignment, and rapid adjustment to offensive strategies are all under scrutiny. Individual talent is important, but in the NFL, coordinated execution often makes the difference between success and failure. Players who can adapt quickly, react instinctively, and maintain awareness of their responsibilities provide a foundation for a resilient defense, capable of handling multiple threats. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. The whispers around the league are growing louder, and the latest rumors sweeping through NFL circles have Dallas Cowboys fans buzzing with excitement. Chris Godwin, the dynamic wide receiver known for his precise routes and sure hands, is being linked as the newest spark to ignite what could already be a dangerous Cowboys offense. The speculation suggests that Dallas, a team often scrutinized for both its highs and lows, is preparing to welcome Godwin as the missing piece that can elevate them beyond being merely competitive and instead transform them into legitimate Super Bowl contenders. Cowboys insiders are hinting that talks have been ongoing behind closed doors, with the front office eager to add another playmaker to pair alongside CeeDee Lamb, giving Dak Prescott yet another reliable option to keep defenses on their heels. The chatter is that Godwin, fresh off his stint with Tampa Bay, where he proved himself as a consistent difference maker, might be ready for a new challenge under the brightest lights of America's team. With his knack for clutch catches, versatility across the slot and outside, and the ability to rack up yards after the catch, the very thought of him donning the star on his helmet has already become the hottest storyline of the offseason. Of course, this supposed move is not just about statistics or highlight reels. It's about perception, power, and presence. When a player of Godwin's caliber becomes associated with the Cowboys, it sends shockwaves throughout the NFL because the combination of talent and media spotlight in Dallas amplifies every transaction. Tenfold. Rumors suggest that Jerry Jones, never one to shy away from bold and headline-grabbing maneuvers, has been personally intrigued by the idea of adding another proven receiver to ensure Prescott has no excuses heading into what many consider a pivotal season for his future as the franchise quarterback. Insiders whisper that Jones views this acquisition not only as an upgrade, but also as a statement of intent, a declaration that the Cowboys will no longer settle for playoff appearances without pushing for ultimate glory. Godwin's arrival would also address long-standing criticisms about the Cowboys' depth at receiver. particularly when opponents double-team Lamb and force Dallas into predictable passing patterns. With Godwin in the mix, defenses would be spread dangerously thin, opening up opportunities not just for big plays downfield, but also for the running game to find new life. The rumor, while unconfirmed, has already created an aura of inevitability, as if fans and analysts alike are bracing for an announcement that could redefine the offensive identity of the Cowboys overnight. Yet beneath the excitement, questions linger about how this potential move would actually unfold. Cap space has long been a tricky balancing act for Dallas, and whispers indicate that restructuring contracts or moving on from a few veterans may be necessary to make room for Godwin's services. Some speculate that this is exactly why the news has surfaced now, as Jones and the Cowboys' brain trust may be floating the idea to gauge reaction. While they quietly shuffle the financial pieces into place, skeptics argue that such a move would come at the expense of defensive reinforcements, a unit that has carried Dallas in recent seasons thanks to Micah Parsons' dominance and the secondary's improvement. Others counter that when an opportunity to land a receiver like Godwin presents itself, you do not hesitate because championships are won by those willing to gamble. Still, the debate rages on about whether Prescott can truly maximize such an arsenal, with critics pointing to his inconsistency in high-pressure moments. Could Godwin's presence be the stabilizing factor that brings out the best in Prescott? Or would this be another splashy headline without substance? That uncertainty only adds fuel to the fire, making the rumor one of the most compelling discussions in the league right now. Adding to the intrigue is Godwin himself, a player who has always balanced humility with competitiveness, making him an attractive fit in any locker room. Reports suggest he's intrigued by the idea of playing under the massive spotlight in Dallas, where every catch, every touchdown, and every playoff push is magnified by millions of fans worldwide. Sources close to Godwin allegedly claim he is seeking both a new challenge and a chance to cement his legacy outside the shadow of Tom Brady and the Buccaneers' Super Bowl run. The Cowboys offer precisely that, a franchise steeped in tradition, desperate to end decades of postseason disappointment, and willing to embrace stars who could deliver in big moments. For Godwin, joining forces with Lamb could create one of the league's most formidable receiver duos, blending finesse, reliability, and explosiveness. Insiders even speculate that Mike McCarthy is quietly envisioning new offensive schemes to maximize the duo's impact, pairing vertical attacks with precision underneath routes. While Godwin has not spoken publicly about the rumors, his silence is only feeding the speculation as fans eagerly interpret every social media post and offhand comment as potential confirmation. The buzz grows daily, and the thought of him streaking down the field in Cowboys blue and silver is intoxicating to a fan base hungry for a hero. Ultimately, whether this rumor materializes into reality or fades into offseason fantasy, it has already achieved one undeniable effect. It has reinvigorated conversation about the Cowboys' potential to finally reclaim their place at the pinnacle of the NFL. Every offseason brings whispers of big moves, but this one feels different, perhaps because Godwin's skill set aligns so perfectly with what Dallas desperately needs. For years, critics have argued that the Cowboys are one step short of greatness, a talented roster lacking just one more weapon to push them over the top. Godwin could be that weapon, the piece that shifts the balance of power in the NFC and forces rivals to rethink their strategies. Fans in Dallas are already dreaming of playoff nights where Prescott connects with Godwin on third and long, or where Lamb and Godwin torch defenses in tandem, creating chaos for opponents. Even if the deal never comes to fruition, the rumor has spotlighted the endless hunger for glory within Cowboys Nation and reminded the league that Dallas will always be linked to big names and bold moves. Whether a calculated leak or genuine negotiation, the story has captivated attention, proving once again that in the world of football, sometimes the whispers are almost as powerful as the plays themselves. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.